In a bustling city, a man named Daniel walked into his favorite barber shop, ready for his usual haircut and beard trim. The barber, George, greeted him warmly, and they settled into a friendly conversation as George began his work. They talked about their families, hobbies, and the latest news, laughing and enjoying each other's company. Eventually, their conversation turned to deeper topics, and George expressed a view that surprised Daniel. "You know," George said thoughtfully, "I don't believe in God." Daniel raised an eyebrow. "Why do you say that?" George sighed and continued, "Well, just look around. If God existed, there wouldn't be so many sick people or abandoned children. A loving God wouldn't allow so much suffering and pain in the world." Daniel paused, considering George's words. He didn't want to argue, so he stayed silent. George finished cutting Daniel's hair and trimming his beard, and Daniel thanked him before heading out the door. As Daniel walked down the street, he noticed a man sitting on a bench with long, tangled hair and a scruffy beard. The man's clothes were dirty, and he looked tired and neglected. Re-entering the shop, Daniel called out to George, who looked up in surprise. "Hey, George, you know what? I've decided that barbers don't exist." George was taken aback. "What are you talking about?" "I'm right here, and I just cut your hair." Daniel shook his head. "No, barbers don't exist. If they did, there wouldn't be people with dirty, long hair and untrimmed beards like that man I just saw outside." George chuckled, catching on. "Ah, but barbers do exist. The thing is, people have to come to me for a haircut and a trim. If they don't, they'll look unkempt." "Exactly," Daniel said, smiling. "That's my point about God. God does exist, but people have to seek him out. They need to turn to him for help, comfort, and guidance. When they don't, the world becomes filled with suffering and pain." George looked thoughtful, realizing the wisdom in Daniel's words. "I see what you mean. It's about making the choice to seek out that help and connection." Daniel nodded. "Yes, and just like you're always here, ready to help anyone who comes through your door, God is always there, waiting for us to reach out to him." From that day on, their conversations often turned to matters of faith and spirituality, and George found himself pondering the deeper meaning of life. He began to understand that just as people need to come to a barber to get a haircut, they also need to turn to God to find the love and support that can help them through life's challenges. And in a small but significant way, George's barbershop became a place not just for haircuts, but for conversations that inspired hope and faith, reminding everyone who walked in that there was always someone ready to listen, whether it was George with his scissors or a loving God waiting with open arms. Please subscribe to this channel for more videos. If you liked the video and found it inspirational, please hit the like button.